If you're a bully, I want them to understand like, oh, how would you feel if they said that to me constantly every day? Because it's not easy. And if it was happening to them instead, they wouldn't like how it feels. Starting jiu-jitsu, I didn't want to do it, not one bit. They forced me to train and I cried the first time and I forced one of my friends to come with me. Okay, so I think that moment was me winning my first tournament, getting off the mat and telling my dad I didn't want to dance anymore. And after that, people started talking about me in school, but differently. Instead of like rude things, they were like, oh yeah, you don't want to mess with that girl. Like she knows how to fight.
We're gonna start this with a snap bum like we always do in jiu-jitsu practice.
Okay.
17 years old.
Yes.
And you've been training for 3 years.
Correct.
How many tournaments have you won?
A lot. I would say more than 20.
20?
Yeah.
That's crazy. How many have you lost?
A few.
Yeah?
Probably around like 6.
3 years. You went on through a white belt. You're now a blue belt. Take me back in time to your life before jiu-jitsu. What was school like? What was life like?
So before jiu-jitsu, I would go to school, come home, and just not enjoy it. I would beg my parents every day, take me out. I don't want to go anymore. Switch me schools, homeschool me. And I had to deal with it until I became a junior, until this year. But besides that, like as a hobby, I would dance. And dance is rough. Like, it's different worlds. Girls are mean, their parents are mean. You're under a lot of pressure. Everyone's always watching you. You have to be perfect or whatever. But yeah.
When you say you didn't enjoy school, is it because you were getting bullied?
Correct.
Do you remember the first times or the first few times that you got bullied? How did it make you feel?
Yeah, so the first time I got bullied, I was in elementary, and it was by some girl. She just was like just commenting on my body. She was like, oh, you're so skinny, and like, you're like a twig, and like, I'm gonna beat you up. And I was like, oh. Yeah, that was the first time.
Did that mess with the way that you looked at yourself?
Definitely a little bit, but not so much because I was young. So as I got older, I started thinking about it more. But the first time, it was just words, like the words. I knew they were mean words, but I didn't really know what they meant.
Right. And did it get worse as you got older? Because that started in elementary school, but then it went on to middle school.
Yeah, in middle school, it wasn't so much like on physical appearance. It was just like people threatening me, and they were like, oh yeah, after school, we're gonna jump you, like all my friends. And like I didn't do anything, and these were like gangsters, so I was like scared.
Did you ever think, because I know if somebody were to tell you that now in school, you'd jump up, flying triangle and beat them up, right?
Yeah.
Back then, you didn't have the skills that you have now. Did you ever think to stand up for yourself, to fight back?
At all. And that was actually a really big problem. I would tell my parents, oh yeah, these girls are telling me this stuff. And they would be like, tell her something. I'll be like, no, I don't want to get in trouble. And that would frustrate them.
Did it reach a point, and I want to know if it was you or your parents, where you thought, this is enough. I can't keep living life this way, being bullied every single day that I go to school, and I have to do something about it. Whether that be change schools, whether that be transition to a different hobby. What was the breaking point, and who made the decision for you to do something else?
My parents definitely made the decision for me to start jiu-jitsu, and they were like, yeah, you can't stick up for yourself, you need to change. But if it was up to me, I would have kept dealing with it and probably hurt myself more. So I'm happy that my parents made that decision for me, and it's definitely helped me a lot.
How did you feel about it?
Starting jiu-jitsu, I didn't want to do it, not one bit. They forced me to train, and I cried the first time, and I forced one of my friends to come with me. And yeah, I just didn't want to start because like dance was my life, and that's what I thought I loved.
Why jiu-jitsu? Why not any other type of combat sport? Karate, taekwondo, boxing?
My dad, he did his research on his own, and he searched for like a local gym. He found this one. He spoke to the professors, and he was like, yeah, I think this is like the right decision for her.
Looking back, do you think it was?
Yes, for sure.
How has it helped you emotionally and physically being in this gym?
Being in this gym, I've met a lot of nice people that have helped me, and like they speak positively about me. Like I've never really heard anything negative at all. And it's definitely made me a stronger person because dealing with losses and stuff, it just builds me. It builds me up.
I've competed. So the adrenaline rush, the nervousness gets to you right before competition. Now, can you translate that to your life outside, like before when you were getting bullied and you felt that, am I going to get jumped here? Is something going to happen? Was that at all equivalent? Like the
Yeah,
nervousness?
yeah, I think it's similar but different. I think I would get more nervous for the girls, but now that I train and I know like the nervousness for a tournament,
Mm,
if that were to happen to me again, I wouldn't be nervous at
you
all.
become.
Yeah, for
Why?
sure. Because I know what I'm capable of, and I
Hmm.
know a person that doesn't train, that's nothing.
Sure, sure. So when you started here and you started training, obviously the first weeks, months, you're getting beat.
Yeah.
And whoever you are, if you come to a jiu-jitsu gym, you've never done it before, you're
Mhm.
going to get smashed.
Yeah.
When was the point that you realized, hey, I'm stronger than I thought I was? I can do this. I can defend myself.
Yeah. So I realized that I was doing good when I started beating the girls that were training longer than me
Mm,
and just catching up to them faster and giving them a harder time. And eventually I just caught up
you know,
and was on their level. And that made me really happy and I
did
realized
you surprise yourself?
I
Did you
did.
think that you could do it?
I didn't think so. And myself, I never noticed it until people started telling me and they were like, "Oh, you're actually good at it." And I was like, "Oh, thanks."
How did your views on bullying change after that? Like you just said, um, if somebody were to mess with you, you know how to handle
Mhm.
yourself. But how would you handle it now? Like if you went back to school, I know that right now you're getting homeschooled and there's nobody that bullies anybody here in the jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah.
But if you were to go back to school and some girls were to pick on you, what would your course of action be?
Okay, so the first steps I would take, I would definitely talk to them, which is something I didn't do before. I would just hear it and not do anything about it. Now I would go up to them and I would talk to them at first. If they continue, then the jiu-jitsu is gonna come in.
Yeah. Have you seen those girls again?
I have, and they're actually trying to be my friends.
Really?
Yeah, she comments, she supports me or whatever, but
Yeah. And
it's kind of funny.
you have nothing, you want nothing to do with that.
Not really.
That's interesting. And was it just one girl or was it the whole?
It was two girls, but their friends were kind of in the background, but two main girls.
Okay. So I met you here, obviously, in jiu-jitsu. And right now, if I see Destiny, she's a very good athlete, very rough. What would you tell somebody who sees you the way that you are now, but that doesn't understand your journey, doesn't understand everything that you went through? Can you kind of explain your process?
Yeah, if someone saw me from the outside, they would obviously like know the bullying, but me as an athlete, I'll tell them, "Oh yeah, that girl, she works very hard. She's trying to make it somewhere with jiu-jitsu. She wants to be a professional. She dedicates all her time and her effort into jiu-jitsu, and she's just trying to work hard towards her goals."
What are your goals?
I want to eventually open my own gym. I want to teach kids, adults, possibly in the future. But a short-term goal that I have right now is I want to get sponsored and grow my YouTube channel.
Yeah. We say that uh, everything happens for a reason.
Mhm.
If the bullying hadn't happened, where do you think the trajectory of your life would have taken you? You probably would have still been dancing, right?
Yeah, my whole life would probably be completely different without bullying. I think, yeah, I would have still been dancing. I would have been in school, most likely a completely different person different with a different mindset, different friends, everything, different everything.
Sure. So in a way, thank you to whoever
Yeah.
led you down
Thank you
this
for
path.
bullying me.
Can you explain to somebody who hasn't been bullied? I was never bullied in school.
Mm.
Um, what is it like? How does it make you feel?
It feels like you feel small. You
Mm,
feel like, oh, this person's stepping on me. Like, how do I get them off of me? Like a chewed up piece of gum on the floor. Like you just step on it over and over again. You like want to get off your shoe. Like it's annoying,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, like I don't know what to do because I'm small. I actually am smaller than them,
yeah.
and I don't know how to defend myself. And it just hurts you. You get home, you're sad, you're tired, and you don't want to wake up and go to school the next day.
How long did that go on for?
Like third grade till the middle of eighth grade.
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So you reached your breaking point at 5 years.
Mhm.
Because I feel like for at least for the boys when they go to school, it's more of a physical thing, right? But even though you said that the girls were also getting physical with you, hey, I'm going to beat you up after school.
Yeah.
But I've also heard that when it comes to girls, it's more of a emotional thing. They
Mhm.
make you feel bad about the way that you look. They make you feel bad about yourself. And I think that's even worse, because the physical thing you can just fight back. But if somebody
Yeah,
attacks who you are as a person, then it kind of, hurts you.
for sure.
Um, is there anything that you would want people to understand about the significance of bullying?
Um, if you're a bully and like you just say these things to people, I want I want them to understand like, oh, how would you feel if they said that to me constantly every day? Like I just want them to put themselves in the person they're bullying's shoes.
Mhm.
You understand? Because it's not easy. And if it was happening to them instead, they wouldn't like how it feels. And I just think people who are mean, they need to understand that because it doesn't matter who you're bullying. You don't know what's going on outside of wherever they are. They could be dealing with more stuff at home, and it's just tough.
Yeah. And also the bullies too, right? I think just like your outlet was jujitsu, I think if the bullies were to take the same route
Mhm.
and go through jujitsu, they would stop
Yeah, for sure.
because you know that this place humbles you.
Yeah.
And you also have a kind of an outlet to let go of all that anger. And instead of directing it to somebody who's defenseless,
Mm.
you're putting it out here in the mats. What would you say to teachers, parents, friends, to do to help somebody who's going through bullying?
I would talk to them, give them like a support system, like comfort them, and then recommend them to start jujitsu or just any martial art, specifically jujitsu,
Yeah.
because jujitsu, it's it's grappling, it's rough, and it teaches you a lot that you can use outside of the sorry, outside of the gym, you know. So
Like
like
what?
like takedowns, it's wrestling, but in jujitsu it leads into other things.
Mhm.
So let's say you get in a street fight, you take them down, then you go into an armbar, whatever you want. It's just
Okay.
easy.
Can you explain to me what it felt like when you noticed a change, when you said to yourself, I'm not the same person I used to be. I'm not this dancer. I'm not this girl who can't defend herself. What was that moment like for you?
Okay, so I think that moment was me winning my first tournament,
Hmm.
getting off the mat and telling my dad I didn't want to dance anymore. So I noticed that, and after that, people started talking about me in school, but differently. Instead of like rude things, they were like, "Oh yeah, you don't want to mess with that girl. Like
Yeah.
she knows how to fight." And like even boys, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like jujitsu doesn't work." I was like, "Really? Come here." And I would like kimura them or like put them in a guillotine, and they'll be like, "Okay, maybe it does."
Yeah. So then people talking about you in a different way made
Yeah.
you realize, hey, I'm not the same girl that I used to be.
Yep.
Do you still dance
No, I don't
at all?
at all.
Wow. And that was your life until 8th grade.
Yep.
That's crazy. Oh. And then one last thing. Why don't you take my MMA class?
Maybe one day. I actually bought gloves for it
Did
once,
you
and then
really?
I just never came.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you want to leave people with when it comes to either jujitsu or bullying or anything, any message that you want to throw out there?
If you guys are struggling with bullying or just want to get into a martial art, definitely start jujitsu. Make the time for it and commit to it. And even if you just start one day, that's better than not starting at all.
Beautiful. All right, Destiny.